All right. So Ghana a week ago passed a law. We had a discussion about it. A law prohibiting alphabet people from doing what they would like to do as freely as possible. The law passed through parliament, and the people of Ghana decided to prohibit those activities. You know, when men want to be with you know how it goes. Unfortunately, we cannot say things the way we would like to, because we noticed that most of the time when you talk about these subjects, we tend to be sanctioned, and I don't think we want to be sanctioned to that level. So the anti-bill passed by Ghana Parliament last week, which could derail today international aid to Western African country. So basically, this means if Ghana chooses to pass this law, then Ghana will not benefit from international aid. So Ghana has to make a choice. You're either going to let our brothers, our friends do their things how they please in Ghana, in spite of the fact that Ghana has made a law to prohibit those activities, or you're going to forfeit the aid coming from international communities such as World Bank and IMF. Very simple. So this is what it is, fellas. Once more, Ghana made the choice. Last week, they voted into law prohibiting activities between men and other,
We're dealing with getting enough beds for our women to give birth when they are pregnant. We should now begin to divert those resources to stitch up the of men who have chosen to go and have.
It's not authorized, not in Ghana. You can do it in your house, not in Ghana, not anymore. Parliament has made a choice. Now, what's remaining right now is for the president to sign that paper, so it's law in Ghana. What they said is, if you are caught doing those things, you're going to be jailed for 3 years. And if you are caught promoting those things, meaning talking about those things, trying to finance those things, you're going to go to jail for 5 years. And there's something else, you go for jail for 10 years. And a lot of people in international level have said this is one of the craziest law ever in Africa. Very similar to what we heard. I mean, I thought the Ugandan law was the craziest because that's what they said. Uganda voted a very similar law prohibiting activities between, they say not in Uganda. We don't want it. It's not part of our culture. We don't want it at all. Keep it out there. And what happened to Uganda, do you know? Well, Uganda does not benefit from IMF aid anymore. They don't get any finance anymore. Let me just explain to you so you can understand. I know we need that. Many African countries get money from World Bank. Why do they get money from World Bank? When they need to build roads, they need to build infrastructure, they need to build schools and hospitals, and they don't have the money to do so. What do? They run to World Bank. They ask for a loan. Okay, it's like a bank for countries, basically. So World Bank gives you the money so you can do your project. You can fix your schools, you can fix the roads, you can build hospitals. But at the end, it's not for free. You have to reimburse the money to World Bank. And when you reimburse the money, you don't reimburse the exact same amount you borrowed. You need to pay with interest. Now, some of the people think that World Bank interest, same as IMF, are some of the craziest interest ever. So basically, they give you a loan, which they know you're going to be struggling to pay back. But still, many African countries still need it. Not necessarily because they need to build a road and infrastructure, because most presidents in many African countries are just crooks. They want the money so they can enrich themselves. Instead of building the roads and the infrastructures and the schools and the hospitals, out of 100, they probably build 1 or 2 schools and just use the other money for personal use. Make sure their children are rich, their cousins have a lot of money, and so forth and so forth. That's the reason why many African countries are held by the balls. They cannot move forward. So what happened to Uganda was Uganda said, you know what? We don't want this in our country anymore. You cannot come to Uganda and promote it or say anything about it or act like it or show signs of affection between a man and another. You know what I'm talking about? In public. If you do so, you're going to be arrested. There was even a law in Uganda that said, if you are contaminated with that thing that there's no cure for it. You know what I'm talking about? You get it via interaction with, when you remove your pants. I'm not going to say the word. If you happen to have that thing and you do pass it to somebody else through those things, meaning through a man with another, you're going to that's the law in Uganda. That's the law in Uganda. No mercy for you. So people were very, very much angry about that. Again, now Ghana has chosen to follow very similar situation, very similar path. They want to make it law that it's prohibiting the community. They feel like they need to uphold their values, which according to them is father and children. That's what they want. How do we know that? Because leaders of communities such as Christian community, Muslim communities, as well as traditional community leaders have come together. They say, we do not want this in Ghana. Now, let me just remind you that a while back, Kamala Harris of the United States of America came to Africa, trying to negotiate with some Africans in order to ask them to allow, if not accept, tolerate people that want to do that with people that look like them. And unfortunately, fellas, many African countries don't like it. I mean, there are probably 2 or 3 countries in Africa where you can actually openly do it. South Africa is one of them. In South Africa, you can do whatever you want. There's no issue with that. But in many other African countries, you're going to have problems, if you behave that way. Some people will not attack you. They will let you do your own things, provided you do it in your home. Stay home, do it at home. As soon as you come outside, you start showing affection to another person that looks just like you. That becomes an issue. Now, what's happening in Ghana, fellas? Ghanaian parliament know that, they're going to hit them very hard. There is a lot of pressure from the Ghanaian people toward the president, because the president has to confirm the law by signing the piece of paper. But the president said he has not received the piece of paper in his office yet, even though this has been treated since 1 week already. President Nana Akufo-Addo said on Monday, I have not received the paper in my office. In his first comment, he said Ghana will not backslide on his human rights record, and added that the bill had been challenged in Supreme Court. So there's a lot of things happening. Interests could be lost if the president signed this piece of paper. I've learned that today a challenge has been mounted at Supreme Court, Akufo-Addo said on his statement. In circumstances, it will be as well as all of us hold hands and await a decision from the court before any action is taken. The bill could lead to something drastic to Ghana. So Ghana could lose $3.8 billion from World Bank financing over the next 5 to 6 years if they pass this law. $3 billion from IMF as well. So $3.6 billion from World Bank and $3 billion from IMF. You make a choice. Do you want your values or do you want $6 billion? That's a massive choice to make. Do you want your values or do you want $6 billion that could help you build infrastructure, build schools, build roads, build every other thing? Even though we all know, fellas, that World Bank has never changed anybody's life. I'm just being honest here. Show me one country that's been transformed by World Bank, that has progressed, that has become democratic and people are free, living happily, earning good salaries. World Bank give you money, but does it change people's life? That's a good question. So we're going to give you money if you abolish the law. If you do not abolish the law, we're not giving you any money. Same thing as Uganda. Uganda is not receiving anything from World Bank or IMF because they say no activity such as that in their country. They even stopped money they used to send to Uganda. Uganda used to receive about $300 million a year for people living with HIV. Okay. So the money was supposed to help people with HIV live a good life. And as soon as Uganda made a choice to vote a law that prohibits those activities, they cut it off. Again, my question remains the same. What do the people of HIV have to do with the laws of Uganda? They don't vote the laws in parliament. It's not them. Why are they suffering out of that? I mean, if you're sanctioning the people in power in Uganda, shouldn't you care about the people that are fragile, at least if you really cared about them in the first place? Unless that $300 million was for something else, for leverage, was used for you to make us do what you want us to do. Why are the people of HIV suffering from the sanction you're giving the Ugandan government for making choices the Ugandan government is making? It has nothing to do with the people of HIV. So Ghana is going to the same route. And they know things are going to break down. That's the reason why one of the politicians in Ghana say, if America dares to do anything against Ghana, we are going to stop them from doing business in our country.
American businesses that operate in Ghana are not in Ghana because of LGBTQ. They are in Ghana because they make a profit. If you think that because we are protecting our cultural values and saying no to LGBTQ. You want to lose $100 million in profit, pack up and go.
We are going to stop them from operating in our country. Now, my question is this, fellas. Is it okay to tell people what to do with their lives, with their country? Is it okay for one country to impose an idea to another country? Or should every country choose their own laws, their own rules, their own values? Should the world be a uniform place where everybody think the same way, adopt the same things, do the same stuff? Or should the world remain diverse and people choose whatever direction they want to take? Does Ghana have the right to choose a law that says you cannot have men and other, doing that together? Can they choose that? If Ghana can choose that, can it be respected? Again, I cannot finish this video without saying, in Dubai, you cannot go show affection in public. There's only specific areas where you can do that. Those are tourist areas. You cannot go to old Dubai and go hug your wife, even if she's your wife, and kiss her in public. It's not authorized. So when you go to Dubai, you need to behave the way people of Dubai behave. If you don't do so, it means you're breaking the rules. Most people respect that. Why is it difficult to respect Ghanaians' way of life in this case? That's a big question. Now, the dilemma is $6 billion. Are you going to say no to $6 billion? Because you want to vote a law that says 3 years in jail for any man that dares to do what wiki with another man? Let me know how you feel about this. It's always a great pleasure. I appreciate you. God bless.